Hello, my name is Dr. Paul Cottrell, and I'm going to be talking about my anti-aging protocol that I have on my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com. You take these items every day, and you will notice that you're slowing down the aging process, boosting up your immune system, and getting healthy and having more vitality. In addition, you should couple this with a holistic approach, proper diet and exercise. That includes some cardio, resistance training, balancing, and stretching. Staying away from processed foods, reducing your sugar content, drinking filtered water, learning new things, reading and writing, especially reading physical books, talking to people, having some spirituality or some mindfulness. That will help to get you into parasympathetic mode. And when you do this on a regular basis, you're going to slow down the aging process. Another very important item to add to this holistic approach is proper sleep. So, what's the protocol? The protocol starts with a foundation, and that foundation is taking a multivitamin. This multivitamin has the multivitamins that you need for proper enzymatic activity. Multivitamins in here act as cofactors for the enzymes, so the enzymes have the proper conformation topology to work properly in your cell. And when your cells are working better, your tissues work better. When your tissues work better, your organ systems work better. This is an easy to digest multivitamin, and you stack it with the probiotic that I have. This one is a powdered probiotic. I also have a VeggieCap version on my store. But take the probiotic, and the probiotics will help to populate your gut biome with the proper concentrations that you need for a healthy gut biome. It'll allow you to absorb your nutrients. It'll reduce inflammation, boost up your immune system, increase your mucosal layer in the intima of your epithelial lining. And with that increased mucosal layer, you'll have a higher concentration of IgA. That's a type of antibody that your body needs to have a good, healthy gut and to be able to fight, to have a good immune system to be able to fight. So with a good gut biome, your metabolism will improve. The communication between your gut and your liver will improve, and the communication between your gut and your brain. With a good gut biome, you're going to be able to sleep better. And when you sleep better, you're going to be able to consolidate memory, detoxify your central nervous system, and you'll be well rested. See, having good sleep is really important. A lot of people don't realize that a good gut biome is actually going to help you sleep. So if you can get into those 3 to 5 cycles of REM sleep and deep sleep, you're going to be able to consolidate memory. And you're going to get rid of this brain fog too. So good gut biome, super important. So the foundation, the probiotic, and the multivitamin. That's the foundation. And then you build on top of that. The first pillar of that foundation is the max 35, max 14, or cleanse. Max 35 is 35 parts per million. Max 14 is 14 parts per million. And cleanse is 30 parts per million. Now, you take a teaspoon a day, every day. And what this will do will boost up your innate immune system. How it works is that it helps the health of your oral cavity and neutralizes. It's made from structural nanosilver. It will also help the health of your oral pharynx, which is the back of your throat. It'll maintain the mucosal barrier and help the health of the epithelial cells in your oral pharynx. So your innate immune system will be boosted up. Now, if you're not feeling well, you should take a tablespoon or 2, swish in your mouth, gargle, and then swallow. And when everything is better, then you go back to your maintenance dose of a teaspoon a day. So the first pillar on top of the foundation that I just mentioned, you take either max 35, max 14, or cleanse. Do that every day. Now, the second pillar is a strong antioxidant, very potent antioxidant, C60. You can get it in avocado oil, MCT coconut oil, and extra virgin olive oil. You can get it in a 2-ounce, a 4-ounce, or an 8-ounce configuration. It is cheaper per ounce to get the higher ounce configuration. But you take a teaspoon a day, preferably on an empty stomach, such as in the morning. If you work out, take it before your workout. You'll soak up the free radicals and recover from your workout quicker. But take a teaspoon a day. And when you take a teaspoon a day, what's going to happen is that you're going to have more energy, because what's happening is that your cells are, C60 in your cells will start soaking up the free radicals, helping to reduce the stress in your tissues and in your cells, boost up the health of the mitochondria, and you'll have more ATP, because your mitochondria, when they're healthy, producing large quantities of ATP, so you have more energy. And by soaking up those free radicals, you're reducing stress in the cell so the cell isn't degrading. Because free radicals basically rust your body, all right? You're decaying because of the free radicals. So if you soak those up and you're reducing the stress, you're reducing the inflammation, and you're soaking up those free radicals and boosting up your energy production, the cells will have more vitality. And when your tissues and your organ systems are functioning properly, your body will function better. So your endocrine system and your immune system will perform better. C60 will also help with your skin. They'll help with the basal layer, soak up those free radicals so the new skin cells will be healthier. So over time, you will look younger. Now, at the neuron level, C60 will reduce stress, reduce inflammation, soak up those free radicals, so the mitochondria in the neuron will produce more ATP, so it has the energy source to be able to produce the neurotransmitters. Therefore, you'll have better connection between neurons. You'll think better. You'll have better memory. You'll think faster. Now, C60 also helps the vascular system. It soaks up free radicals and helps bring down inflammation. And when you soak up free radicals at the vascular level, you're reducing the concentration of oxidized LDL, because free radicals oxidize tissues. If you're soaking up those free radicals, your tissues aren't oxidizing. So you have lipids that are floating around in your cardiovascular system, different types of lipids, right? Well, LDL is a type of lipid that if it's oxidized, it turns into plaque, all right? And it's basically a simple process. So the way plaque forms in your vascular system is that you have LDL floating around, and there's stress, there's inflammation at the vascular level, causing slight damage to the intima of the vascular system, your blood vessel. It gets a micro tear. And that oxidized LDL gets into that micro tear and is now in the media of the blood vessel, in the middle of the blood vessel. And you'll have macrophages that are sensing that some foreign body is in the vascular system, that's in the media of the blood vessel. That macrophage will get in and eat it, eat up that oxidized LDL. Well, when that macrophage eats up that oxidized LDL, it ends up turning into a foam cell. And over time, a plaque builds up. And then further time, what happens is calcium starts to build around the plaque. So you have buildup of calcium and you have a buildup of oxidized LDL that's been gobbled up by macrophages that turn into foam cells. So this foam cell buildup is actually the plaque. Well, if you reduce the inflammation and reduce free radicals, you're reducing oxidized LDL. And when you do that, you're reducing the chances of plaque formation. So you can improve your cardiovascular health by taking C60. So this targets a lot of different systems: your endocrine system, your immune system, your organ systems, your vascular system, brain function, the health of your neurons. It's really important to take. It's 1,000 times stronger than vitamin C. And how it works is that C60 is 60 carbons connected, and carbon has a special property with its electron shell, its valence electrons, and they float around, right? And they can share. They kind of float around. So this molecule is shimmering with valence electrons. With vitamin C, when it is near a free radical, it'll neutralize the free radical and can no longer recharge. It permanently changes. So only one molecule of vitamin C can neutralize one free radical. With C60, one molecule of C60 can neutralize 1,000 free radicals. Because of what happens is that the valence shell is shimmering, the electrons are shimmering around the molecule, the C60 molecule, and it's being recharged while it's neutralizing a free radical. All right, so that's why you just have to take a teaspoon a day. It's very strong. You can't take enough C60. You can't take enough vitamin C to equal C60. It's impossible for you to absorb that much vitamin C. So C60 is very powerful. You take a teaspoon a day. I've been taking C60 since 2016 every day. Teaspoon a day. Now, if you're not feeling well, right? Let's say common cold or whatever, you're building up more free radicals, right? You want to make sure that you're taking C60 to soak up those free radicals. If you've noticed that when people get sick more often, if they get sick chronically, they age faster. So what you're doing with C60 is soaking up the effects of age, aging process, or the stress of something that the body's going through. And by soaking those up, you're reducing further damage and allowing the body to heal. So take a teaspoon a day every day. And again, you can get it in extra virgin olive oil, MCT coconut oil, or avocado oil. So take a teaspoon a day. Then the third pillar focuses on the immune system, the cardiovascular system, and also bringing down inflammation at the cerebral level. Now, the first item on that third pillar is ashwagandha root. Ashwagandha root will help to control your cortisol levels. Now, that's important because if you're chronically elevated in your cortisol, you're doing damage to your organ systems. Cortisol will do damage to your organ systems when it's elevated chronically. It also, when it's elevated chronically, it suppresses your immune system. So having too high of a cortisol levels because of high stress will lead to faster aging. So ashwagandha root will lower that and slow down the aging process. Ashwagandha root will also help to control your blood glucose levels. Now, the reason why you should be taking ashwagandha to help control your blood glucose levels is that most people in the United States have hyperglycemia. They have too much glucose in their bloodstream. And that causes damage, causes inflammation, causes vascular problems, causes nerves to degrade. Eyesight starts to decline. So you want to reduce your sugar intake and take ashwagandha to help to control your blood glucose levels. And then you'll go into a better BMI, better weight, and you'll just be healthier and you'll have less stress. If you look at people that eat sugary foods all the time, they're inflamed. You can see that they have an inflamed system, that they look inflamed, and their body is aging faster. So to control the cortisol levels and to control the blood glucose levels, take the ashwagandha root. And this will help to bring down that inflammation. All right. Now, turmeric will help to bring down pro-inflammatory cytokines, bring down that inflammation, also soak up free radicals. So here again, by bringing down inflammation, you're helping your immune system, your cardiovascular system, because you're reducing plaque formation, and you're helping to protect your neurons by bringing down inflammation in that microenvironment. Because if a nerve or a neuron is in an environment where there's a lot of inflammation, there's going to be nerve degeneration. The myelin sheath starts to erode. So taking turmeric is going to help with your brain function, help with your cardiovascular health, help with your immune system, right? And also your other tissues because it's soaking up free radicals. And lignans. Lignans will help with your immune system and your endocrine system, bring down that inflammation and soak up the free radicals. And you get all the benefits of helping with your cardiovascular health and your brain function. You stack them together, it's a very powerful stack. That's why it's part of the protocol. Now, when you do this, you're slowing down the aging process. Now, it's important to realize with the foundation and the three pillars that I just mentioned, there's a fourth pillar. I'll talk about it shortly here. But it's important to understand that we're targeting with this protocol the main vectors of aging. Less energy. When you age, you have less energy. Your immune system goes down. Your endocrine system is not functioning properly. Your vascular system is building up plaque and becoming hypertensive. Your brain function starts to decline. Your immune system isn't as robust as it used to be, so you can't fight pathogens as well. So if you boost up energy by helping the health of the mitochondria, if you soak up those free radicals that are being generated as you age, if you're bringing down that inflammation and you're giving your body the nutrients it needs, like improving your gut biome, giving your body the multivitamins that it needs, your body is slowing down the aging process. Now, we go through different gates when we age, all right? And when we go through these different age gates, there's a methylization that takes place in certain tissues at different times, but they average at about the same age gate. But when you go through that gate, your cells or your tissues, the epigenetic profile changes. Genes will start to methylate. And when genes start to methylate because of aging, there's other reasons why they methylate, but if they're methylating because of aging, they move more into a permanent status and they start to be silenced. Now, either the gene is silenced completely or the gene expression is weaker. And so as you get older, you have a different gene expression profile. But if you slow down the aging process, if you bring down inflammation, soak up free radicals, boost up your energy levels, have a better immune system, have a better endocrine system, have a better blood flow, because blood flow is really important. If you have poor blood flow, you start having ischemic problems with your tissues and they don't have the microenvironment they need and they start to atrophy or they start to decline. So perfusion of your blood is really important for a healthy body. So that's why cardiovascular health is super important. But when you're bringing down inflammation and the free radicals and helping with your cardiovascular health, you are improving the microenvironment so you're not going through the methylation at these different gates as you age. And so that's the reason why when you look at someone that's 40 and they don't take care of themselves, they're not doing proper diet, proper exercise, proper supplementation, someone that's 40 that's not taking care of themselves looks older than someone that is taking care of themselves. And that the reason is that age 40 is an important gate for methylation. All right. So now, if you have an individual that's not taking care of themselves between age 40 to age 65, right, you'll also notice that they age much faster because they're building up the free radicals and the inflammation and all the problems with the destruction that takes place with the tissues and the organ system because of high free radical content and inflammation, where at age 65 they look a lot older versus someone that took care of themselves. So the key is to mitigate the vectors of aging. And those are the buildup of inflammation, the buildup of free radicals. And then when you apply a holistic approach, keeping down your sugar levels, your sugar content, drinking filtered water, making sure you detoxify your body, staying away from processed foods, drinking filtered water, getting proper sleep, right? When you do this, it's a holistic approach that actually helps you as you go through your life and you go into these different gates. The methylation of your genes because of aging will decline. You will have less methylation. So your tissues age at a different rate. So you have your chronological age when you were born, right? So based on the calendar, what your age is. And you have different tissues. And if you biopsy all these different tissues, you would actually have different ages. And the ages can be categorized by different ways. One way is the length of the telomeres in the tissue. The longer the telomere length, the younger the cell, or the younger the tissue. Another way is to look at the methylation compared to what it would be at baseline for someone of your age versus what you're at. All right. So the methylation profile of your genes and your telomere length can give you tissue age or organ age. So you can be, let's say, 42, all right, and you can have a liver that is 50. You can have a brain that is 30. You can have a heart that is 60. All right. So it's really important to understand that your body ages at different rates. Different parts of your body ages at different rates relative to your chronological age. So if you keep the inflammation down, if you keep the free radicals down, and you do a holistic approach and you take care of your health, proper diet, exercise, right, and mindfulness, spirituality, what you're going to notice is that your tissues are not aging as fast, so the methylation isn't taking place. You don't have a buildup of the free radicals doing damage to your tissues. And the less damage to your tissues, the less remodeling has to happen when the body senses that there's some damage and is trying to remodel. So when you're young and something happens, your body remodels really quick. You can regenerate fast. And as you get older, your regeneration capacity goes down. And part of that is due to larger free radicals are created, more inflammation, and this methylation of turning off genes that helps to heal. Well, if you can keep those genes turned on, if you can express those regenerative genes in a more prolific way as you're older, then having them turned off, you're going to be able to heal quicker. All right. So, and in addition, if you reduce inflammation and you're reducing free radicals, your body doesn't have to regenerate all the time. if you're chronically sick, if you're chronically, your body chronically is getting inflamed, your body has to spend a lot of energy to try to remodel. And eventually, if it's always doing this chronically, you're aging faster. People that are sick regularly age faster. This is the reason why. Free radicals are building up, the inflammation is building up because of the chronic infection, and then your body is spending all of its time to try to remodel, and eventually, it over time, because it's chronic, the tissues aren't healed as well, and your immune system is down, and your endocrine system starts to go down. There's increases of methylation of the genes, and therefore the tissues start to age quicker. So it's really important to just get to the core cause of aging, and that is the inflammation of the free radicals. When you do this, then you're slowing down the aging process. You can't reverse. You can't go like, well, you're 50 years old and you want to be a 10-year-old. It doesn't work like that. But you can improve your tissues over time. And as the body is healing and you're not chronically inflamed and you don't have high levels of free radicals and oxidized stress, the body can heal and slowly repair those tissues. And over time, what will happen is maybe a liver that is 50 years of age, chronological age is 40, you may be able to get back to 40 over time, right? So, but the key here is that mitigate it, and the earlier the better, because you have that compound effect, okay? Now, the last pillar of the core protocol is Boomer Boost. Now, Boomer Boost will focus on many different areas of your body, so you get lots of different benefits from taking Boomer Boost. It has 68 nutrients. It has a very comprehensive compound profile shown on the screen. Now, Boomer Boost will help with brain function, get rid of that brain fog. You'll be able to concentrate better. You'll be able to do tasks, longer duration. You'll be able to concentrate, and over time, you're going to improve the dendritic connections that allow you to think. You'll be thinking faster. You'll have better memory. Boomer Boost also helps the cardiovascular system, helps to bring down inflammation. It helps with your immune system and your endocrine system. And it helps to boost up your energy levels. Now, remember what I was saying about aging. It's about loss of the power generation in your mitochondria. When your mitochondria isn't healthy in your cells, you don't develop ATP. You don't generate the ATP. Well, if your mitochondria is healthier, you develop more energy. When you have more energy, the cells perform better, the tissues perform better, the organ systems perform better. You're more active. You have more musculature. Okay, so when you take Boomer Boost, it's going to help the health of the mitochondria, help with the cellular metabolism. Your overall metabolism will improve. You will lose weight. You'll be more active. You have lots of energy, and it's a steady burn of energy. And you'll feel the effects of this within 72 hours when you first start taking it. But it's a steady burn of energy, and you have more vitality. Now, this will also help with musculature, because now you're improving your energy levels. You're more active, and your body is starting to slow down the aging process. You're now able to reverse some of the effects of atrophy. You're moving around. Your musculature starts to improve. You do some resistance training, and you'll notice that your body is healing. All right, so taking Boomer Boost will hit multiple targets: vascular system, immune system, endocrine system, brain function, metabolism, slowing down the aging process, bringing down inflammation, soaking up free radicals. It's a very comprehensive compound profile. So this core that I just told you is a very effective way to slow down the aging process and to get healthy. And it's affordable. It's the most comprehensive that is in reach of most people in terms of cost. There's nothing out there that is better than this relative to the cost. Nothing. So I'm the most effective based on the cost. All right, now, what's the core protocol in a nutshell? Again, the foundation, the multivitamin with the probiotic. The first pillar, cleanse, max 35 or max 14. Take a teaspoon a day. That will help to boost up the immune system. The second pillar, C60, you get MCT coconut oil, avocado oil, or extra virgin olive oil in a 2 ounce, a 4 ounce, or an 8 ounce configuration. You take a teaspoon a day. Turmeric, ashwagandha root, and lignans will bring down inflammation, soak up free radicals, help with your immune system, your endocrine system, your vascular system, and help to bring down inflammation at the neuron level. And the fourth pillar, boomer boost. Rev up those energy levels, rev up your metabolism, help with brain function, help with cardiovascular health, help with your immune system, help with musculature. That's it, right there. It's a very cost-effective way to slow down aging. And it's targeting all the key components, soaking up those free radicals, bringing down inflammation, helping the health of different organ systems. You do this every day, you're going to slow down the aging process. So please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, get what I just mentioned, the core protocol, and take it every day and couple it with a holistic approach. Proper diet, proper exercise. That means some resistance training, some cardio, preferably more resistance training than cardio, stretching, balancing. Make sure that you're reading, writing, and talking to people. Try to stay away from social media. There's too much doom scrolling. Have some spirituality or some mindfulness. Stay away from processed foods. Drink filtered water. Take the proper supplementation that I just mentioned. That's a great way to stay healthy. And when you do this regularly, you're not going to be dependent on pharmacopoeia. You will go into your geriatric years with more vitality. So please pay attention to my advice. I'm the most comprehensive in this subject matter. Nobody is more accurate than I am on this. I just gave you the recipe to slow down aging. So please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com. Use discount 5, you get $5 off any order. Thank you for listening. Again, go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com. The link is in the description of this video. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.